Thank you, Mr. Savern, for that wonderful introduction. Oh, the knees are starting to shake. I taught school for 33 years and retired in 97. And in my 33 years, I had this total number of people. The ones sitting at my table were asking, "What are you doing with the pencil now?" I said, "I'm not taking any more notes. I'm just trying to figure out something," but I didn't tell them what it was. But can you believe that? 825 students, but this is very, very different. Thank God they dimmed the lights so I don't have to see everyone's faces and how far back the audience does go. All right, go ahead. You may go ahead if you wish, so she can go
She's
sit down.
still in charge.
Oh, do you want to,
I was just trying to get Mother to sit down.
can we just gather for a picture and then
Sorry.
you can sit in my chair if you like.
Oh, she's fine. You need to be over there. Step over here. Let Merle go ahead.
Go ahead, take her down.
Okay.
First off, before I do anything else, where's Mr. Hartsock? You did a wonderful, wonderful article from our interview 2 months ago, and I didn't get to meet you last night, but we made one little mistake. Where are you? Some other friends from Tyrone, Mr. Sickler and Mr. Dutrow, informed me that when I said that he often talked about Shenandoah, it was supposed to be changed to he always talked about Shenandoah. First, on behalf of my mother, the Stonebraker families, the Thimler family, and the Emmerman family, I want to thank the Blair County Hall of Fame Selection Committee for making this honor possible. This is the 12th anniversary of the day he passed away, and we know that he's looking down on us, and he's here with us tonight. I'd like to introduce the people over here at table 3, along with my mother, my sister, Susan Thimler from Elkhart, Indiana, my husband, Dawn, or Herc, who's formerly from Altoona, our daughters, Wendy and Kelly, who also teach. My sister Susan is a teacher, and my husband was a teacher. So, you know, Father had a great influence on us. And we also have our daughter with us, Desiree. She's handicapped, but Pop-Up made sure she got to work every single day of her life when he was alive, or got to school, both. We also have some family friends, John Harlow and Diane Romano. So let's give them a little bit of round of applause, please. I wanted them to stand, but they didn't want to do that. I do want this next person to please stand, Harry Sickler. It was Harry who was determined to see my dad a part of this wonderful Sports Hall of Fame. Harry worked very, very hard on Dad's behalf so that we could be here tonight. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about my dad. He was an All-American at Bucknell University, but he was more than a football player. He loved his hometown of Tyrone. For many years, he was the athletic director of the Tyrone Recreational Association. In the summertime, he was in charge of the 7 playgrounds, and in the wintertime, he was in charge of ice skating at Reservoir Park. At Reservoir Park? At Reservoir Park. That brings back a little memory, as my sister reminded me last night. You know how now everybody has these answering machines that'll come on and give you a little message when you call? It would have been wonderful to have had that all those years that he took care of that, because people would call all hours of the night, even 3 o'clock in the morning, and want to know if the ice skating was ready. He was out there many, many times himself shoveling the snow so that everybody could go and enjoy their winter activity. There was nothing he wasn't involved with in Tyrone High School. He was a teacher for 40 years, as Mr. Savern had said, and then after he retired, he was a substitute teacher for 13 years. He was a star on their football team. He was a head coach for Tyrone. He was an assistant coach. He was an equipment manager. He was a trainer. And he even refereed football games all around the area until he was 62 years old. In later life, he was a ticket seller, which several people mentioned to me that they had met him whenever they came to any sporting event in Tyrone. He worked there until he was 80 years old. He loved Tyrone, and he was very proud in any way possible to better the community that he called home. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who had any part in Dad's evening tonight, and thank you, Dad, for making this evening possible.